Hey, be in tuned with your body, Candace. Don't be afraid of your body. Just learn your body. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. I'm gonna be real with y'all. This is my second time filming this video. The first time, I just felt like I was all over the place, even though I have notes. I don't know, maybe it's just because the topic is so not used to talking about, but here we are. I'm trying to get my energy back up and be ready to chat. The background's a little different, but like switching it up. Yes, it is a boring blank wall of nothing, but we are going to try this out. Today's topic, y'all, is, like I said, on a topic I am not used to talking about. It is on embracing inner divine femininity, or your inner goddess, or I should stop saying I should say me, because right now I'm only applying this to me. I cannot say do this. I cannot offer this as something you all should do. I don't know. It's very new to me, so I am still in the exploration phase of it. But overall, it can be categorized or labeled as me trying to embrace my inner divine femininity. Now, I want to preface that by saying femininity, and I'm even going to use the word masculinity or masculine, this is not an indication of sexual preference or outward appearance or anything like that. I'll get into it, but just know that masculine and feminine traits are things that both men and women should have in balance, of course. For me personally, I feel like I have been living in a space where more of my masculine traits are way more heightened than my feminine traits, regardless of what seems to be true to the outside looking in. And by masculine traits, I mean things like just being about action, like going to do things, being grounded or being stable and just acting and not being easily swayed, really using logic over emotion, which is very much where my masculine traits, that's where I live in my head. I live by logic. So the feminine is more so leaning into the feelings. How do you feel about certain things? Leans more into receiving and not having to work so hard for things to come to you. It talks about being an attractive magnet for all good things towards you, not necessarily people, or it doesn't always have to equate to wanting to attract certain type of people, but just attracting good things towards you, things of that nature. So that's the space that I am trying to lean more into, that feminine energy, that energy of flow. This part of my healing journey that is more so focused on divine feminine inner goddess work was really propelled from a YouTuber that I came across recently. Her whole channel is about this topic. She talks about it from a spiritual perspective, a perspective of self-worth and growing and just learning to be in tune with your body, learning to be in tune with your emotions and things of that nature. A lot of femininity videos, divine femininity videos that I've come across in the past on YouTube, they pretty much felt the same. They felt like
you have to eat this way, you have to wear flowy dresses and the perfumes and do your makeup because, blah, 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 pretty things.
Whatever. All things that are aspects of femininity, but things that I was I just don't resonate with this. I don't feel like in order to have good things in my life, I have to be this way all the time. It just wasn't my calling. So when I came across the Jalen's videos and the way that she talks about divine femininity, I was like, yes, this makes sense to me. This makes sense to me about really tuning into yourself and looking more inward and finding value in yourself, finding security in yourself, being in tune with yourself, and that inward focus then resonating in your outward world. That is where divine femininity, inner goddess journey really began for me. The way that I have been focusing on it, at least for this time being, is through chakra work. Now, I am not going to go in and teach and talk about chakras because, to be honest, I really know the bare minimum. I know that there are 7 primary chakras and they start from the base and then they go up. And the idea when you're starting to heal your chakras and balance your chakras is to start with the grounding chakras first before you dive into the ones that are more head and third eye and the woo-woo stuff. So the two bottom or base chakras are root chakra, which is represented by the color red, and that really has to do with grounding and stability and logic and things of that nature, action. And it's very, at least the way that I understand it, more masculine chakra. Men and women have this chakra. Men and women can have masculine and feminine traits. They should. This root chakra is a chakra that I feel like needs healing for myself, but not as severe as the next chakra I'm going to talk about. The one right above it is the sacral chakra, and that is represented by the color orange. And that really has to do with divine femininity, sensuality, feeling over logic, receiving, attraction. The way I think about it is, I know I'm a goddess and I know people are going to do things for me. I know things are going to happen for me. I know the world, I know the universe is going to shift to make things happen for me. That's how I view it. And that's the energy that is very foreign to me. I'm not going to lie. It was something that I didn't even know was so buried and just covered and put away in a dark box somewhere. Me realizing that made me realize, okay, this is an area that clearly I need to actively work on. So with the chakras, like I said, there is a color associated with each chakra. And the root chakra is represented by the color red. Crystals, as you guys know, I love me some crystals, are also used or can be used to aid in your healing of chakras. A crystal that I recently bought is this garnet, and it looks black, but it is a really super deep red color. I will put somewhere what it represents, but this was tied to root chakra, which I felt like would really help me continue to heal that energy within me. Another crystal that I purchased recently is this orange heart-shaped carnelian. This is what I'm associating with my sacral chakra, but it could also be in tune with my root chakra. And I'll also put some description of what this crystal represents. And then the crystal that I've already had is orange calcite, also tied to sacral chakra, and I didn't know it at the time when I purchased it, but also been keeping this crystal close to me as well to aid in healing these energies within me. So a couple things that I want to share that I have been trying to get into the practice of doing, or even have already been doing and didn't even know it was related to healing these energies, specifically for the root chakra, the red chakra, the grounding and stability chakra. Some of the practices that people talk about with healing this energy within you are: one, addressing your fears. And coincidentally, about a month or so ago, I had the idea of writing down as many of my fears as possible. And there are a lot of them. And I did it because, I don't know, I guess I didn't realize how much my fears really play into how I live my life, with the things that I try to avoid, me trying to be as safe as possible with all aspects of my life, which means avoiding things that could be fun, or avoiding things that, may be scary, but could turn out to be really good. I wrote down so many of my fears, got them out of my head and onto paper. And honestly, I have not looked back at that paper since then. And I can't even say my fears have really come up since then. I would honestly say I've probably been a little bit more fearless in some aspects lately that I didn't even realize until this very moment. Another activity that I did today for the first time actually was touching grass, walking barefoot in some grass. Now, this practice is called grounding, and it's something that I learned about through a podcast several years ago. And when I first listened to it, I first learned about it, I was like, ew. How do you not think about all the dogs that have peed here, or all the bugs that your feet are going to be touching? Like, yuck. Again, coincidentally, I was in a work meeting, and the lady that leads this particular meeting is very holistic in a lot of ways, and encourages us to do things outside of work and be more mindful of certain things. And she brought up the topic of grounding and posed the question to the team of like, have you gone grounding? Have you gone outside barefoot before? And everyone was sharing their experience with it and how they've been doing it for years and this, that, and the other. So that put another tidbit in my mind, like maybe I should really consider this, just going with it. So today I did it. Today I went to the park, sat in the sun as I was eating my breakfast and listening to my podcast and working on my Rubik's Cube. I know how to solve a Rubik's Cube, a 3x3 and a 4x4. Quick side note, I had the urge to just go grounding in that moment. I took off my shoes and was just walking, doing my Rubik's Cube, barefoot in the grass, not worried about the people that were around me, not thinking much of it, just grounding. And if I'm being honest, I was like, this is weird. I was like, this feels weird. The grass felt moist and it just felt foreign. That's the better word. It felt so foreign to me. I continued with it. I kept walking. I would go back to my little mat and sit down and then get right back on up and do the same thing. What I noticed was when I was leaving the park and putting on my shoes to go to the car, my shoes felt so foreign to me on my feet. They just felt like, what is on my foot? They just felt weird. And even when I got home, I put on some socks, and for a little while, my feet still felt kind of tingly, not like a allergic reaction kind of tingly, but they just felt, I don't know how to explain it, but it made me think, okay, maybe there is something to this grounding practice. Maybe I should try it more and just be more open to walking barefoot in the grass, y'all. I don't know, we'll see where this takes me. But anyway, that is another practice for healing the root chakra and becoming more stable and more grounded with yourself. We talked about crystals, we talked about grounding, we talked about addressing fears. There's also meditation and breath work and things of that nature. And I've been trying to do that more. Meditation is like an on and off thing for me. Like sometimes I'm like really diligent about it. Other times I'm like, yeah, whatever. When I do it, I do it. Let's talk about the sacral chakra though, because that's the spicy one. This is, even now, I still don't even know how much I want to share about the sacral chakra healing that I've been doing. But just know, similar practices as the root chakra, the meditation and things of that nature. But again, sacral chakra really has to do with very sensual energy, attraction, very feminine, receiving, things of that nature. And the YouTuber that, like I said, propelled me into this journey, she has a course that I bought, and some of the practices that she talked about in there, I was like, oh, okay, got it. So this, wow, there are aspects that I was like, okay, be in tune with your body, Candace, you know, don't be afraid of your body, just learn your body. There's that aspect of it, but then there's just the aspect of simply recognizing your worth and believing that you are worthy, affirming that to yourself. And I don't know, I kind of want to say holding yourself, carrying yourself in a way that you truly believe that, but even then, I don't think that accurately captures the vibe of the course. Well, I will let you all have your mind, your curiosity wandering about that, but I have been taking up some of her advice with how to heal this space within me, because like I said, it's something that was like pushed down deep to the depths. Didn't even come across my mind as something that I needed to heal or needed to work on.